I didn't know all the situations I was going to run into, everything from evictions and bedbugs and troubled tenants. I had a tenant burn down my shed. When I started investing in real estate, I definitely didn't have all the answers. But what I did have was my long-term objective. I knew why I was doing the things that I were doing. And I think that's really important for young investors to understand. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my story and what I knew going into it that has become more clear to me now that I think will help guide you in your investing journey. When I bought my first property, I actually bought a 5-unit multifamily, which is a little bit unusual for a first-time investor. But I knew that this property in my mind was a good deal. I didn't know all the answers, that I didn't know all the situations I was going to run into, everything from evictions and bedbugs and troubled tenants. I had a tenant burn down my shed. I had electrical problems. I had issues with the town, inspections, with non-payment of gas accounts. I mean, everything you could probably imagine I had at this property. It was the perfect crash course. But I knew going into it that I was going to learn a lot. I knew that at the end of the day, this was a good investment. And what I really just believed in was the long-term plan. The long game is the definition of real estate investing. If your goal is to build generational wealth, you need to do it over a long period of time. And that's real estate investing. But some people don't necessarily want it for that reason. Some people want to buy real estate to make quick cash. That looks a lot different than if your goal is to build wealth over the long term. Some people want to operate real estate as a business. Maybe you're a developer. Maybe you want to own Airbnbs. Those are different types of avenues that all achieve different objectives. So when you're looking at real estate investing, you should understand why you're going down that path. Like, what does this mean for me? What is this going to provide for me to make sure that the business channel you choose aligns with your goals? I know a lot of people who want to build wealth in real estate and they're out flipping houses. Yeah, you can make some quick cash, but that requires a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, and sometimes a lot of capital. So why would I necessarily want to do that if my goal is to retire when I'm 40, right? You'd have to do a lot of flips to do that. But if you get enough multifamily assets early enough, that can be a realistic outcome because that's more of a long-term investment vehicle. And then the type of commitment you're willing to make to that investment definitely changes what's available to you. For example, if you're someone who said, I don't have a lot of time, but I want to invest in real estate, probably shouldn't take on a flip, right? It's a ton of work. It's a lot of effort and it's intense. You only have 6 months to buy, renovate, and sell a property. And every day you don't, interest accrues. So it's a stressful process. But if you were someone who said, look, I have all the time in the world, I want to make some cash, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Maybe you have flexible hours at your job. Flipping's great, right? You can make that extra income. You can put some time into the property and you can make that objective a reality. On the contrary, if you're someone who says, look, I have some time, but I can't go out and swing a hammer. I would love to build some long-term wealth and I'm willing to put in some effort. Multifamily investing is perfect for that type of scenario, right? You can buy a property, you can put in a little bit of work, you can hire subcontractors to do the work and then manage the property over the long term. And that might mean you get a property manager. Maybe you have the time to buy the property, underwrite it, go through the financing, but you don't have time to manage the maintenance requests, the repairs, the tenant challenges, the leasing. Then you could opt for a property manager and just factor that into your underwriting. But if you don't know where you want to go, you might be struggling trying to make a goal work through the wrong channel. I know a lot of people who love the idea of Airbnb. This is personally something I'm very focused on in the near term, next 6 to 12 months. But Airbnb is a business. Real estate is the vehicle, but it is a business. So understanding that going into it can change for some people the decision on whether or not they actually want to take it on. So as you start thinking about real estate investing, I just encourage you to find that core objective. Why are you doing the thing that you're doing? And make sure it aligns with your plan because there is plenty of ways to make money in real estate investing. You just want to make sure it matches with you, your availability, your work life, your long-term objectives, so that you're putting your effort into the highest value places. Hopefully you took something from today. And if you ever have questions about real estate investing or business in general, find me online.